Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the Play-by-Play. I don't even know what I'm going to be calling this. But I'm your host, Ryan, and this is a battle for the Pokemon Doubles Federation. So for those of you who don't know, it is a doubles-based VGC rules draft league. And there's 14 teams, and each team each week battles each other, and after 13 weeks, everyone's done, and then we move into the playoffs with the top 6 teams. So today's battle is going to be the Tennessee Seakings versus the Sootopolis Milotics. We've got Liquid Ice as the coach for the Seakings and Moody Pones for the Milotics. So their links will be in the description below, as well as a potential link to their videos if any of them uploads it. But let's just go over their teams. So the Seakings are bringing Aerodactyl, Hippowdon, Delphox, Milotic, and Chansey. Their 6th Pokemon remains a mystery, as I was unable to locate the coach and find out before recording this. So you guys will never know what he brought or his strategy. The Milotics, on the other hand, brought Hydreigon, Rotomfan, Azumarill, Venusaur, Mawile, and Meowstic Male. So as you can see, the Seakings tend to have a very defensive team, very in the back line per se. And the Milotics, they're very offensive, so how this will go we will not know. But as you can see, that Liquid Ice has decided to bring Aerodactyl, Hippowdon, Delphox, and Milotic to the first, probably looking at the Mawile and the Venusaur for the Delphox, as well as the Hydreigon is probably going to be coming, so he probably wanted to look for the Milotic to counter that. The Milotics, on the other hand, brought Hydreigon, Rotomfan, Azumarill, and Venusaur. Not really much to say about that. Going for the full power. Chansey is going to be hard to break through for her team without Mega Mawile, but we'll see how this goes. So let's get started and see how they decided to start off. Alrighty, so this is the first episode, Season 1, Battle 1. We'll see how this goes. So the Milotics start off with Venusaur and Azumarill, and to counter that, the Seakings bring out Hippowdon and Aerodactyl. So Azumarill, of course, has the type advantage here, as well as the Venusaur, although Aerodactyl can hit the Venusaur with a super effective flying move, most likely Skydrop. So we're going to see the Aerodactyl go for the Mega Evolution. I wonder if he is going to go for that Skydrop to hit that Venusaur as hard as he can and take it out of the fight. And of course the Venusaur does Mega Evolve as well, losing its Fire and Ice weakness, but still retaining the flying, so this will still be pretty good. Now we will see a Protect off of the Venusaur, probably predicting the Skydrop, and she does predict correctly. Now the Azumarill does go for the Waterfall on the Hippowdon. Now Hippowdon's known as a defensive threat. Can it survive? It does survive with 5 HP. Man, and then it fires back with its own Earthquake. Now that won't hit Venusaur because obviously it is protected, but it will hit some good damage for the Azumarill. Now I can only assume that Azumarill is choice banded by that damage because, like I said, Hippowdon is a bulky threat. Very interesting to see. So we see some leftovers proc over there. Now, of course, we're going to see the Venusaur drop out because Skydrop will not only pick up the Venusaur, but also make the Aerodactyl immune to damage. Unfortunately, we don't see an... Oh, wow, okay, so we didn't see an Aqua Jet, and that's going to actually not pay off for the Milotics because Azumarill has been taken out of the battle. So that Skydrop actually very well predicted on, instead of going to the Venusaur, who was most likely going to switch out, we saw it hit onto the Azumarill, and taking advantage of the Azumarill not being there, we saw the Hippowdon go for Slack Off. So the Skydrop comes in, drops the Azumarill, nearly kills it, and we see the Azumarill try and finish off this Hippowdon with Waterfall. So it's going to be a 1-for-1 right now, mainly because the Sand will kill the Azumarill. It looks like the Rotom may actually be Scarfed, since it outsped the Aerodactyl, missing, I believe it was a Thunderbolt. So a 1-for-1 trade in the first battle. Not too bad. So we're going to see Hydreigon come in for the Milotics and Delphox for the Seakings. Now we're going to see the Aerodactyl Protect, probably expecting the Thunderbolt to come off, and like we wagered before, it was most likely going to be Scarf. Now, Seakings respond to that with a dazzling gleam of his own, probably not expected by the Milotics, as the Hydreigon stayed in and just straight up died. Now, Delphox is seemingly running Life Orb, so that power definitely helped grab that KO, and the sand is just whittling away at this poor Rotom. So Mega Venusaur does come back in. Now remember, he is not weak to fire anymore, but Delphox is part Psychic, so we'll see how that goes. Now Thunderbolt goes off onto the Aerodactyl, and surprisingly does not even take it out. Now we know he's in the sand, so he must be running some sort of defensive investment. So we see a little bit of a damage going off onto the Rotom Fan, straight up taking it out, and now it's I believe, a 3 versus 1 with the Aerodactyl, Delphox, and Milotic versus the Venusaur. Now the Skydrop does do quite a lot of damage to the Venusaur, and it doesn't really matter if it doesn't take it out, because Psyshock will come out and take it down from here, giving Liquid Ice, the Tennessee Seakings, their first win of the season. So that's great. So looking at that, we're probably going to have to see Liquid Ice win this next battle, because if he doesn't, it's going to have to go into Game 3. And of course, no one ever likes going into Game 3, because Game 3 in itself can always change things. And, you know, with this game being all reliant on hacks sometimes, it kind of makes it hard to want to go to Game 3, because anything can change it. So as we move into Game 2, we're going to have to wonder what the Milotics will bring in order to sort of turn the tides on the Seakings. So it looks like the Seakings decided to replace Milotic with Chansey, and the Milotics decided to bring Mawile and Meowstic over Venusaur and Hydreigon. We'll have to just see how this rolls out for them, and if they're able to turn the tides and bring the battle to a win. So we're going to see a Azumarill and Meowstic male come out for the Milotics, as well as Aerodactyl and Hippowdon again for the Seakings. So I guess, as the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix. It worked for him the last time, so of course he's going to go for it this time. Now we're going to see the Aerodactyl Mega Evolve. Of course, there's nothing else on his team that we know of that can Mega Evolve. So it's going to Mega Evolve. It doesn't have to Mega Evolve, but I guess he felt like the Mega was the best for this. Now we're going to see a Charm come off of the Meowstic male. Obviously Meowstic is Prankster, so that will happen. Now again, we don't see another Aqua Jet come off, which would most likely kill the Aerodactyl from what I would assume. Probably, if she is banded, is most likely looking for that waterfall power. And here we see a Yawn on the Hippowdon towards the Meowstic, so we'll see how that pans out. So Meowstic goes for the Safeguard. Now that, I believe, will prevent him from going to sleep at the end of the turn. But we're going to see the Azumarill get Skydropped here, and some damage, not a lot, but we're going to see the Waterfall come off onto the Chansey. Again, of not targeting the Aerodactyl, but it's still, that has to be banded damage, because as you can see, that's a Chansey. As you can see that, guys, that is a Chansey, and that did a lot of damage to the Chansey, so it has to be banded. It's actually very surprising that it did that much damage to the Chansey. I'm quite confused. So obviously being locked into Waterfall and probably going to be Skydrop, the Milotics decide to take out their Azumarill for Rotom Fan, because of course Rotom Fan does resist flying pretty well and should be able to take this attack very well. But again, you know, it takes him out of the game, and Chansey's able to get a free Soft Boiled. And surprisingly, Yawn actually goes through the Safeguard, which is something that I missed, but that's actually pretty surprising. I did not think that would happen, so I don't think anyone expected that. So what we're going to see is a Thunder Wave come off from the Meowstic, but of course, you know, since Aerodactyl is not able to be touched, nothing will happen. So we'll see a Seismic Toss go on the Meowstic, and that's a lot of HP on the Meowstic, because that Seismic Toss did not do very much. And again, you know, we know that the Rotom is Scarfed, so Rotom won't be able to do anything this turn. So it looks like no one's able to do anything this turn except for Aerodactyl and Chansey, so they're really in a good position right now. Now, of course, this Aerodactyl is at -4 now, as you remember the first turn, but not much you can do about that. We're going to see a very, very, very interesting move, swapping that Choice Scarf right over to the Chansey, removing pretty much all of its bulk, and actually in a good way. Because not only does Chansey now have Choice Scarf, but Rotom's actually going to be slower than Aerodactyl now and going to be able to get some damage off next turn, even though it is Skydrop, because last time it outsped, and now it's not going to outspeed. So in comes Azumarill, and as we know, Chansey is stuck into Seismic Toss, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. It looks like Aerodactyl may have missed that attack. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I must have missed it, but Rotom does get off a Thunderbolt and is able to KO the Aerodactyl. Again, you know, it's not in sand, so it's not going to be doing very much. So now the Milotics can really feel free to just lock the Azumarill into the Aqua Jet and just take out the Delphox, because, you know, Delphox is a pretty strong Pokemon. And then just kind of attack the Chansey as best as they can. You know, Chansey is locked into Seismic Toss, so while that does a decent chunk every turn, overall it's not going to be able to win the Seakings the game. So in comes Hippowdon. Now we're going to have to wonder, oh, the Azumarill does go out. I was wondering if she was going to go for that Aqua Jet, but we're not going to see that, and instead we're going to see Meowstic come in. As well as an Air Slash onto the Hippowdon, just trying to get that thing as low as possible. We're going to see another Seismic Toss onto the Meowstic. Again, Chansey is stuck into it. Does not look very good for the Chansey. Now we do see an Ice Fang come off of the Hippowdon, but Hippowdon's not very offensively inclined, so it's going to do a decent chunk, but not enough to take out the Rotom. So now we're in a position where Chansey's really low, Hippowdon's above half, but most of the Milotics are actually pretty low, so even though Chansey's in a bad position, the Seakings can come back from this. Now the Charm does go off, so that's going to drastically reduce the ability of Hippowdon to do anything. And we're going to see the Milotics just constantly attacking the Hippowdon, because right now the Chansey's doing a specific amount of damage every turn, so you know how much it's going to do. So the more that he lowers the Hippowdon and attacks the Hippowdon, the more the Milotics have a chance. Now Rotom is going to get pretty low to the sand one more turn, and he's definitely gone. But the Milotics do have a choice banded Azumarill in the back that can beat out these two, especially. Oh, that HP is actually pretty low. But we're going to see a Thunderbolt off onto the Chansey, and that should take it out, and it does. Wow, good. So that's going to be game, I believe I can call it there. Yep, and the Azumarill outspeeds, and we're going to see a Waterfall onto the Hippowdon. So right now, it is 1-1. Both teams are tied. This is a best 2 out of 3, so we're going to have to see what each team does in order to get their next win. And whoever comes out of this is at the top of the game top of the league right now, because no one else has played yet. So if anyone, well, at the time of me recording this, they're at the top of the league, but probably by the time this video comes out, the round will be over, so it'll be different. But whoever wins this is gonna have a leg up for this round. So we'll just have to go in and find out what they do. I'm excited to see who wins. I mean, I obviously already know who wins because I run the league, but we'll see what happens here. So the Milotics are going to start off again with Meowstic and Azumarill. It worked for them last game, so we'll see what happens. And the Seakings are actually going to start off with Chansey and Milotic, very different from last game. So he goes for Safeguard. Probably the Milotics go for Safeguard, probably predicting, you know, a Toxic or some sort of thing from the Chansey. We're going to see a Play Rough from the Azumarill, and that just literally one-shots the Chansey. I have no idea what that Chansey's running. I know they don't have very much defense, but to be one-shot like that, oof, man, first turn one-shot, it's already in a very good position for the the Chansey with Aerodactyl and Mega Evolve, but they're going to protect, probably predicting the Thunder Wave. Now, Milotic is going for the Scald onto the Meowstic. Obviously, Milotic isn't one of the Pokemon, isn't a type of Pokemon that can deal with opposing water types, because, let's face it, the only real move that Milotic has for water types is Hidden Power Electric, and not much she can do against that. So we're going to see the Hippowdon come in, probably predicting another Play Rough and a Thunder Wave. The Milotics are actually going to withdraw the Azumarill, who still has a really good matchup right now. And we're going to see a Scald go on to the Rotom here. Now, I don't know if that was a prediction or what, but it worked very well for the Seakings. They were able to get off more than half of that Rotom fan's health. And even though the Meowstic is going to get a Charm off onto the Hippowdon, that Rotom fan is not long for this world. Now, the Rotom fan does do quite a decent amount of damage to the Milotic. But Milotic is just going to say, I don't care. Crit did not matter because, again, with the Sand and its HP from the previous, it's not going to really do very much. So we see a bit of a misplay here. We see, I believe that was a yawn into the safeguarded Meowstic, but hey, sometimes things like that happen. We're going to see Swagger actually come out of the Meowstic, and since the safeguard's there, we now have a plus, I believe, 3 Azumarill, especially with Band. And I guess at this point, you know, Seakings don't really have much to answer to that Azumarill. Waterfall is gonna basically just kill everything, although Play Rough might have been a better choice because that hits also the Milotic. I really don't think an Aerodactyl, Mega or not, no matter how many defenses, can really take a +3 Play Rough from Azumarill. I mean, if a Chansey can't take a +1, I don't think an Aerodactyl can take a +3. But she is actually going to switch out for the Mawile to just cycle and Intimidate, which is actually a pretty solid option. We did forget that she had a 3rd Pokemon in the back. But unfortunately for the Milotics, that actually gave the Seakings a +2 on his Milotic. So we'll have to see where this goes. Now we're going to see it protect off on the Aerodactyl on a safeguard on the Milotics, so we'll see how that goes. Now Meowstic does go down to the Scald, so it's now actually a 2v2, I believe. Yes, it is a 2v2. And Azumarill has to make a choice. Does she go for the Play Rough to kill the Milotic, or does she go for the Waterfall to kill the Aerodactyl, or, you know, any which way or what? So we're going to see a Sucker Punch off of the Mega Mawile, which was almost enough to kill the Milotic. And we're going to see an Aqua Jet, and wow, that is one defensive Aerodactyl, not 8, just straight up taking that. Just straight up taking the attack. Now, wow, we're going to see a huge Scald off onto the Mawile. And, oh, what's this? The Sucker Punch fails, so it looks like the Milotic might be going for something a little sneaky here. Oh, wow, okay, so we're going to see a Recover come onto the Milotic to heal all that damage up. I don't know if it'll be enough to take another Sucker... Actually, no, it should be enough to take a Sucker Punch. So what we'll see here is a Protect on the Aerodactyl, and most likely a Scald onto the Mawile, but it's not going to matter because Mawile has protected. So we're going to see the Aqua Jet go onto the Aerodactyl. Of course, that is what's going to happen. Aqua Jet will kill the Aerodactyl, so there's no reason not to go for that. And it just goes down. I mean, at 10 HP, it's surprising that the Aerodactyl took the attack to begin with. But to come back and... I mean, obviously it's just going to die there. So the Milotic does get a Scald off onto the Mawile, killing it. And unfortunately, the Azumarill is actually locked into Aqua Jet. And even though it's at +1, it's really not going to be doing much. And with the Milotic having Recover, Azumarill's kind of in a bad position. So we're going to see an Aqua Jet come off, and the Scald is most likely going to happen here. Yes, it is. How much will this Scald do? Probably not much. Oh, was that a crit? That was not a crit. He does get the burn, but overall it doesn't really matter because, as you saw, that damage is actually pretty high. And the Azumarill was indeed locked into Aqua Jet, and after the Recover, there was no way that Aqua Jet would have killed the Milotic in one turn. So the first battle of the season goes to Liquid Ice and the Tennessee Seakings. So congratulations, man. And right now, no one else has battled as of the time of this recording. It is 3:27 at December 1st. So right now, the Tennessee Seakings are at the top position of the match of the season. So that's very, very good. But overall, well played to both teams, and in the description below will be both of their Twitters, and this will be in the PDF playlist, as well as other news, information, and battles that we'll be uploading, as well as my own personal live battles. So I hope to see you guys at the next episode. Drop a like to support the new league, and I hope to see you guys at the next episode. Peace.